What's up, guys? Welcome to our new studio space for top tier headshots. Today, what we're gonna do is a full walkthrough of the studio and just give you a behind the scenes look of the space, what we have in the space, what we're using the space for, and also some of the gear that we're using in the space, so that if you're looking to set up your own studio or maybe looking to grow or expand a studio and see what would be useful to have, hopefully this video will be very useful for you. All right, so bringing in from the outside, so we're gonna head inside. All right, so this is the entrance to the studio. So we got the sign, some headshots there. We wanted the entranceway here to have a nice seating area so that people could come in and relax and enjoy the space. Got some of my work there on the wall. That's Horseshoe Bend in Arizona. And then one of the most popular pieces of decoration we have up is this display of antique cameras here on the wall. So we wanted to design the space so that it could be useful in multiple ways. So everything has a primary purpose, obviously seating area. Also useful if people want lifestyle pictures in a seating area like that. We have the ability to do that. So we're trying to get everywhere in the space to be able to do double duty and be used for multiple purposes. We've got our pay station here, just a little Samsung tablet with a square card reader, and then snacks for our clients as well, so that if anybody gets hungry during a shoot, we can have something to snack on there. Also completing the entranceway room is a coffee bar, so we can have coffee whenever we want. All right, so the first room off of the main entranceway is our dressing room / hair and makeup room. So we wanted this space, again, to be very functional for its primary purpose. Have a nice private dressing room, and then also a space for a hair and makeup artist to be able to work and prepare our clients. So nice table there. Table's about counter height. Chair we got on Amazon is adjustable height as well, so very useful for hair and makeup being done. And then just having a variety of different little products and tools here for people to be able to use if they didn't hire one of my makeup artists. So we've just got lots of stuff available. Brush, lint roller, collar stays right there. Little hairspray, some gel, individually wrapped combs, things like that, just so people can have anything that they need if they didn't bring it. Nice little seating area over here. Again, useful for lifestyle photos if needed. And then just a nice little seating spot there as well. And that's a bench. That bench is something that we can use for portraits, very easily taking it into another space to be able to do that. That's a drawing I did for my wife Bethany before we got married for one Christmas. Thought it'd be cool to hang it up in here. Yeah, so that's the hair and makeup room. Also, very, very important if you have a portrait studio like this, having a rack to be able to allow clients to hang up their clothing. Just a relatively inexpensive one we got on Amazon, but use it all the time. All right, next room. And arguably the most important room for my business in this space is my headshot room. So this is a space that I am in all the time. So we have my headshot lighting setup. This is the Peter Hurley triangle lighting setup. And I'm going to do a full video just on these lights. I get a lot of questions about these lights and how to set them up and use them for headshots. So I'm gonna make a video just on those. You can see they're Godox flexible LED light mats, and they just do amazing with headshots. Here's one of my clients that I shot using those lights. They just make absolutely fantastic light on people's faces. I shoot with Nikon Z6 II camera. That's actually what I'm filming with right now, but I have the primary body that I use, and a 105mm macro lens is the lens that I use for headshots. Just is incredibly sharp, perfect focal length for headshots. Just absolutely love it. Shoot with a camera on a tripod so that I can maintain a consistent camera height throughout a headshot session, and obviously be able to adjust it up and down for different clients who are different heights. Also, you can see I am shooting tethered to my laptop, and that is something I highly recommend if you're working with clients and wanting to be able to show them images as they come up on the screen. That's very, very useful, and I highly recommend shooting tethered to a laptop. I have some equipment back here that I use for transporting this gear if I'm going to be doing headshots on location, say for an office. I've got down here, the Think Tank, I believe it's the Production Manager 40, that all of my headshot gear, or most of it, folds down and just gets pretty compactly packed away into that, which is amazing. I use the Westcott X-Drop background system for my headshot work, and so this goes with me on location as well whenever I go anywhere. Think Tank backpack, obviously I love Think Tank, nearly indestructible. I've taken this thing into deserts, rainforests, you name it, and it's stood up, never broken. The zippers are still working years after I got it. Absolutely love it. I've got this little rack here. This is just a generic rack that you can probably pick up at any Walmart or somewhere like that. And I've got several of these. They're super useful to have just to store extra gear. You can see I've got some additional lenses up there, other gear that I use on a regular basis. So it's just definitely very useful to have them around. You'll notice that I have some black fabric hanging up on the side walls in my headshot room. And the reason for that is I want to minimize reflections coming off of the walls. I didn't want to paint the walls black. We painted them gray, but there was still some reflection coming from the side, and I really wanted to minimize that. So I put up these black fabric that really helps to reduce reflection coming off of the painted walls. And then for my backdrop, I've got the Westcott X-Drop fabric, and instead of having it on the X-Drop frame, which would take up a lot more space, I got these nifty little hooks right there. And I just put them, kind of did some measurements, put them into the walls, and then was able to mount that white fabric directly on the wall, which is just an amazing backdrop to use for headshots. And it never needs to come down, and it gives me a lot more space to work with. So love having that up there. Then also, you'll notice these are Godox light wands. And I use them if I want to change the color of the background, if I want to change the brightness of the background. Instead of having to change out the actual backdrop itself, I can just shine some lights on the background and change it from a dark gray to a brighter, almost white in color. Or I can also use these to shine some light or some colored light to basically make this a colored backdrop for a headshot. So it's very, very cool. Definitely recommend these. Are an amazing tool to use in a photo studio. And there you have it, that's my headshot room. All right, so let's move on. I'll just quick show you the bathroom that we got set up in here. So, wanted to set something up that just looked very high-end and professional. My wife, Bethany, designed and decorated the entire space, by the way. So super excited for what she came up with. It did not look like this when we moved in. So just some great things that you should have if you have a bathroom that your clients are gonna use. Make sure that you've got everything you need in there, some nice soaps and things like that. And then just also some accessories, helpful for people to have, potentially if they're gonna be doing some makeup stuff in here or whatever they need, just to make them feel comfortable. And then one of my wildlife prints hanging on the wall here, great blue heron. Love that shot. All right, so now we're gonna start working our way towards the back, which is my portrait room. But on the way there, we wanted to have some other shots hanging on the wall that weren't necessarily headshots, but something a little bit more portrait focused, just to show people different things that we could do with them. So more of a simple half body portrait there. And then we have one portrait that I took of a friend who teaches piano, and then another kind of half body portrait there, more of a seated one this time. So just showing clients you know, different things that we could potentially do to help them out with their branding needs. Gives people some ideas. All right, so now we're walking towards the back of the space and we're coming into my portrait room. So this is an awesome space. This originally had drop ceilings like the front space, but we removed the drop ceilings so that we had a nice tall space. We could use, you know, bigger lights and things like that. And so now it's 17 feet to the peak of the ceiling. We absolutely love this space. We got a lot of things going on in here, and gives our clients a lot of options for different things that we can shoot as well. So let me point out a couple of different fixtures and things that we've got in here that we installed. So up here we've got our paper backdrop holder. This is I believe it's an Impact brand paper backdrop holder. It allows us to have 3 rolls of paper up there. We've got white, gray, and black, just keeping it simple. And it's got the chains on the side so we can unroll and roll them back up as needed. So very useful. Also allows us to do kind of the sweep onto the floor so we can get kind of that infinite backdrop look if we need to. So we've also got this wooden backdrop, which Bethany and I actually built that ourselves, and not actually as a photography backdrop. She used to be a vendor at some craft shows, and we built that for her to have a backdrop for her booth and to hang things on it. And she's not doing that anymore, and it was just kind of hanging out in our garage. It's completely collapsible, so it was just collapsed and hanging out in our garage, not doing anything, and we thought, wouldn't that be a cool background in a photography studio? So we brought it here, we assembled it, and it has been one of our most popular backdrops for portraits since we moved in, and it's just a nice rich color, and people love it. And then the other things that we have backdrop wise is we invested in some gravity backdrops, which we brought in from Europe. Again, this is something that my clients are absolutely loving. We got several different colors. We got this kind of grayish green one that my clients are loving. Back behind there, we've got kind of a rose-colored pink version. We haven't shot a lot on that yet, but that's something that I'm hoping to use more in the future. And then we've also got some others hanging up here or just kind of rolled up on the side. We've got a couple of really nice brown ones and a nice dark blue one as well that we can use for clients. And then also something else that we've done with the space is it had this little kitchenette when we moved in, but it wasn't very nice at all. It was really dated and just didn't look really good. Didn't have kind of the high-end look that we were going for. So we had a friend that helped us to renovate it. We painted the cabinets. When I say we, Bethany painted the cabinets, installed new hardware, and then a good friend of ours installed this granite countertop and a new sink in there, which just totally transformed the way it looked. And my clients have loved it so much that a couple of them, well actually just one so far, who's a realtor, used it as a backdrop for a couple of her lifestyle shots, and they turned out absolutely amazing. So it's a very functional space, but it's very aesthetically pleasing and makes a great backdrop for that sort of a portrait as well. We've got this nice table here. I do a lot of work on my laptop on this table. We'll sit with a client and go over image selection at this table. Just is very useful. Can get portraits of people sitting at the table. I've done that several times. So just very functional in multiple ways as well. We've got just a lot of storage going on here. So we keep like cleaning supplies up here, like extra plates and cups and things, microwave for heating up food. Obviously good to have lots of paper towel around. We've got some camera lens mugs for coffee if we need some. Extra coffee mugs over there. Something I didn't point out from the front, but this is the Bose Flex Sound Link, I believe it's called. And we've got two of them, one in the back and one in the front. And you can connect them via Bluetooth into what's called party mode. That way the music will play out of both of them simultaneously, and it's just a great way to add a good vibe to the space during a shoot. And then we've got just, drawers filled with lots of things that you might need, plastic cutlery and various things there. Some personal items in case you are having a long shoot or you're just at the studio all day and need to freshen up. And then a drawer. This is a lot of primarily audio equipment that I use when I'm shooting video. Some various mics, video monitor right there, and just other odds and ends that are useful when I'm shooting video. Nice little fridge there to keep drinks for my client nice and cold. Always very useful to have a mirror in the studio or several mirrors so that your clients can check up on their appearance, how their hair's looking, things like that. All right, let's talk lighting. What are we doing for lighting back here? So we've got a couple of things going on. I've got several of these impact rolling stands. These are very useful, functional, very sturdy. So I've got several of those that I use all the time. We've got, in the studio, we've got two Westcott FJ400 strobes. These are really powerful strobes, really easy to use, easy to set up, and just an awesome piece of lighting equipment. Absolutely love these. They're wireless. You can use them battery powered or plugged into AC power. So very useful there, either for on location or in the studio. And then I've got it set up right now with a Westcott Manny Ortiz Beauty Dish Switch softbox. It's a 36-inch softbox. Really, really cool. Very useful softbox to have in a lot of different situations. Absolutely love that modifier. We also have a couple of Westcott FJ200s. These ones I don't use as much unless I'm using them as say a kicker light in the background, or shining a little light on the background itself if I need to. And then I've got it set up with Westcott 1x3 strip. And then next up, we've got this absolutely giant Westcott 7-foot umbrella, which I wanted to have. There is a window, as you can see back there, but it's not a great window, and we didn't have a lot of space around the window. And I wanted to have a light source that was really big and that we could use to essentially mimic window light. So this Westcott 7-foot umbrella was absolutely perfect for that. And it just does a great job of mimicking that really large light source. And then right now, we've got that set up with a video light. This is a Godox SL150 bicolor light. Absolutely amazing light. I've used it a lot, both for video and also for still photography as well. If I'm feeling like shooting with continuous light instead of strobes, this is a great powerful light to be able to use for photography. Obviously it's great for video, and I should do a review on this light because it is fantastic. It's really bright right now. It's only on 40%, and you can, as it's a bicolor light, you can adjust the white balance, and you can adjust the power, the output of the light from 1% all the way up to 100. And it's got a super quiet fan, so it's just an amazing piece of equipment. I absolutely love it. If I need a little extra just lighting in the studio, it works great for that too. All right, and then every great studio needs a good storage spot to keep a lot of extra equipment. So we've got this metal rack that we picked up from Costco, just a generic metal rack, but is very strong, very sturdy, and just has a lot of storage space for a lot of our extra gear. So we picked up some plastic tubs at Target just to house a lot of loose extra gear, lighting equipment and things like that. It's good to have around. And then we've got some extra stands back in here. Just some odds and ends, some grip heads. And then this is a really important spot here. This is my charging station. So we've got the surge protector at the back that's plugged in, and we've zip tied it to the rack so that it doesn't go anywhere. And then just have a lot of like our FJ400 batteries here that we can plug into that. These are FJ200 chargers. This is the flash, the strobe trigger. We've got it charging there. We can plug in anything that we need, and it's just a really nice organized way to be able to charge stuff. So I would definitely recommend setting up a designated charging station for stuff like that. We've got a couple of our extra Westcott modifiers over here that we can pull out when we need to. And then down here, when I got the FJ200s and the FJ400s, they came with these, in the kit, they came with these really awesome backpacks for transporting them. They're a really nice, high quality backpack. They feel very sturdy, lots of protective cushioning on the inside. So I'd be very comfortable putting one of my cameras in it if I needed to, or just the strobes, whatever I needed. So really great for taking gear on location. And then every studio needs some Apple boxes. So we've got some Kupo Apple boxes. We just got 2 of the full size and then 2 of the half size Apple boxes in there. Just use those all the time for different client poses, for seated poses, to have them put their foot on something. And then every studio, especially if you've got high ceilings, we've got just a little stepping ladder there, and then a full 6-foot ladder as well. Really useful if you're gonna be changing out backgrounds or just need to reach something high up. Very, very useful to have. When you're hanging up these painted backdrops, they come on a cardboard roll, but then you've got to figure out how to mount that and everything so that it doesn't completely unwind. So what we did is to make it a little bit extra sturdy, we inserted I believe it's a 1-inch, 10-foot long metal pipe through there so that the cardboard wouldn't bend at all and just give it a little bit of extra sturdiness. And then we attached that with we mounted that into a super clamp. And then what we did so it wouldn't unravel is we used one of these A-clamps and then put it into the cardboard. So it just kind of unrolls, hits the back of the stand, and then prevents the roll from unrolling any further. So it's just a really simple way to keep them sitting there. You only need one clamp on one side and it does the trick. All right, so that is an overview of the portrait room. All right, and then walking back out here to the front, back to the entranceway. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the studio tour. I hope it was beneficial for you. I hope that gave you some ideas about useful things to have in a studio if you're trying to set one up for yourself. Feel free to comment down below if you have ideas for things that I could add to my studio, or just things that would be good to have in a studio in general. If I'm missing something here, would love to hear that. Or if you have any questions about the gear that I'm using or just the space that I'm using and how we're using it with clients, I'd love to hear that from you. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button down below, and we'll see you guys next time.